Look around you. Everything you see, the walls, the screen, the chair you're sitting in, was designed specifically to keep you safe, to make your life effortless. So why are you more stressed, anxious, and exhausted than any of your ancestors? You didn't fail at living in the modern world. The modern world is a cage you built for yourself. For 300,000 years, human existence was defined by friction. You had to walk miles for water. You had to hunt, forage, and build shelter with your bare hands. Every calorie was earned. Every moment of rest was a victory. Your brain evolved to reward you for solving these problems. It gave you a massive hit of dopamine when you found high-calorie food, a rush of serotonin when you built a fire. But then, about 10,000 years ago, we did something impossible. We started removing the friction. We invented agriculture, then cities, then industry, then the microchip. We conquered the elements. We defeated starvation. We eliminated the predators. We thought we were building paradise, but we fundamentally misunderstood what human beings are. We are not designed for paradise. We are designed for struggle. And when you take the struggle away, the machine doesn't just stop. It turns on itself. Evolutionary biologists call this mismatch disease. It happens when an organism's environment changes radically faster than its biology can adapt. If you put a great white shark in a small glass tank, its dorsal fin collapses. If you put a wild parrot in a cage, it plucks its own feathers out in distress. And if you take an apex predator built for the vast African savanna and put them in a cubicle for 8 hours a day, they develop chronic anxiety. They get depressed. They stop sleeping. In 2009, clinical psychologist Dr. Stephen Alardi published a fascinating review of hunter-gatherer societies. He looked at groups like the Kaluli of Papua New Guinea, people who still live much like our ancient ancestors did. Their lives are objectively harder than yours. They face disease, high infant mortality, and constant, grueling physical labor. But Alardi found something shocking. Clinical depression is almost completely non-existent in these populations. It's not that they don't feel sadness, but the chronic, soul-crushing emptiness that plagues the modern civilized world, they just don't have it, because their environment perfectly matches their biology. Your biology, on the other hand, is completely out of sync. Take your stress response. Deep inside your brain is the amygdala. It's your ancient biological alarm system. For 99% of human history, that alarm only went off for immediate life-or-death physical danger. A leopard in the tall grass, a hostile tribe across the river, a falling rock. When it triggered, your body flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate spiked. Your vision narrowed. You had two choices, fight or run. Either way, the physical action burned off the stress hormones, clearing them from your blood. The cycle completed. But modern civilization doesn't have leopards. It has emails. It has mortgage payments. It has traffic jams. It has social media algorithms specifically designed to keep you perpetually outraged. Your amygdala can't tell the difference between a physical threat to your life and a psychological threat to your ego. So it sounds the alarm over and over again. But you can't fight an email. You can't physically outrun a debt. So you just sit there, simmering in a toxic bath of stress hormones that were never meant to stay in your system for more than a few minutes at a time. Your own survival mechanism is slowly poisoning you because the modern world hijacked your biology and gave it no physical way to reset. But that's just the chemical cost. The physical and psychological cost is far worse because civilization didn't just change our environment. It changed us, literally. Over the last 20,000 years, as we transitioned from wild hunter-gatherers to civilized agriculturalists, the human brain actually shrank. This isn't a fringe theory. Anthropologists have measured the fossil record. The average human brain has lost roughly the volume of a tennis ball since the late Stone Age. Why? Because we domesticated ourselves. When humans domesticated wolves into dogs, the dog's brains shrank. They didn't need the massive neurological processing power required to hunt, track, and survive in the wild. They just needed to learn to obey, to follow the rules of their human masters. We did the exact same thing to ourselves. When we built cities, We outsourced our survival. You don't need to know how to navigate by the stars. You have a GPS in your pocket. You don't need to know which plants are poisonous. You have supermarkets. Civilization allowed us to become physically and neurologically softer. Look at your own mouth. A massive percentage of humans have impacted wisdom teeth and require braces. For thousands of years, our ancestors chewed tough, fibrous wild foods, which built massive, wide jawbones that easily fit all their teeth. But the invention of cooking and processed agricultural food made our diets incredibly soft. Our jaws literally shrank in response. But our genetics kept producing the exact same number of teeth. We created an environment so soft, our own skeletons are running out of room. And here is the ultimate paradox. The terrifying catch-22 of human existence. Every piece of technology we invent to make our lives easier makes us slightly more fragile. We invented cars, and our leg muscles atrophied. We invented the internet, and our attention spans collapsed. We invented artificial temperature control, and our immune systems grew weak. We are engineering our own obsolescence. And deep down, we know it. That's where the existential dread comes from. It's the subconscious realization that you are completely dependent on a system you do not understand and cannot control. If the power grid fails tomorrow, 90% of the population wouldn't know how to find clean drinking water. We have become the ultimate invasive species. But we didn't just invade a planet. We invaded ourselves. Think about how profoundly bizarre our reality has become. We sit in climate-controlled rooms all day, staring at screens. Then we pay money to go to a specialized room, lift heavy pieces of metal, and run on a rubber belt that goes nowhere, just to simulate the physical labor our ancestors did for free. We buy noise-canceling headphones to block out the artificial noise we created. We use meditation apps on the very devices that are destroying our attention spans, desperately trying to find a digital cure for a digital disease. We're constantly trying to buy our way out of a problem that buying created. We built civilization to protect us from the brutal, unpredictable indifference of nature. To keep us warm, to keep us fed, to keep us alive. And it worked. We won the evolutionary lottery. But the prize was a cage. A beautiful, gilded, inescapable cage. We are the only animals smart enough to conquer the entire world, and the only animals foolish enough to forget that we still belong to it. When you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling that inexplicable, heavy weight in your chest, that isn't a glitch in your psychology. That is a wild animal realizing it's trapped. We spent 10,000 years trying to separate ourselves from nature, only to realize that nature was the only thing keeping us sane.